Hi everybody, it's Monday, November 12th at 1:15 p.m. and I wanted to report to you on the phone conversations that I've had with everybody regarding mom and dad's situation. I first want to say what a moving experience it was for me to listen to your outpouring of love and support for not only mom and dad but for one another in this difficult time. So thank you so much for your participation, and thank you so much for all your thoughtful and caring words to one another. And I think that's going to be important in going through all this. So there were three main topics that I wanted to talk about that we had asked questions about, and one that sort of popped up during the phone calls. One was mom and dad's living arrangements. Two was medical oversight for getting their needs recognized and met. And three was the possibility of a conference call. As it relates to living arrangements, everyone was in support of whatever they want to do. They'll be in support of whatever they choose. Everyone had sort of individual ideas about what it might mean for them, but ultimately it boiled down to the fact was if mom and dad want to whatever they want to do, that we'll be in support as long as they're able to make that decision. I think that's a fair representation for everybody. And the question, of course, was how. And there are several things that are in the works. Some of you just may have noticed that Kurt sent an email out regarding Middleton Glen. I asked him to do some research on that because Dad was putting that up as a reason why they could never move, was because they would lose so much money on Middleton Glen sitting empty, which turns out to be only partially true. Others are doing research into what kind of facilities are available, etc. And there's a range of living arrangements, including staying where they are, with someone coming in and helping, all the way to whatever it's called, full nursing home care. And but I think it's also clear that people don't feel, and I think it's accurate, that mom and dad don't know what the options are. So one of our challenges will be how to explore options with them. The second area, medical oversight, is also, there's a little bit going on. You may have heard that there's a social worker coming in to talk to mom and dad. The date is uncertain because she had to get approval from a physician, but that's going on. Also, mom had a conversation with a psychiatrist just before she left Meriter. And it was not just any conversation. She came away feeling really good about it, and she felt like she was finally being understood, and that her wishes are at least in the process of being recognized. And so, we've several people have thought that should continue, that the idea behind pursuing that conversation in some form, whether it's individual representatives of the family or whatever, with a psychiatrist, that would help them move towards some action. And I have to say that there are a range of emotions about how soon this has to happen. Some are anxious and ready to get rolling on it. Some are, well, let's just sort of take a deep breath and see where we are, and let nature take its course. But that we ought to be prepared for some eventuality, but not that we have to implement it now. So it seems like the next step ought to be just to help them become aware of what the options are for both living arrangements and medical oversight. I have to say that I had a call. One of the calls was with Kay, which I'll get to a little bit more later, but well, I'll save that because that's the fourth issue. For the conference call, we seem to all agree that one is needed. There's a little bit of concern about, not concerns, that's the wrong word, a little bit of question about what we would talk about, and in thinking about it and listening to people, it seems to me that there are at least two issues, possibly three, that we can and ought to talk about. One is, what's the current status of things? We're all very interested, and we talk to individuals. We talk to Kay, we talk to Sue, we talk to Mary, who've been there, and then Kurt as well. So we come away with varying perspectives. So at least I think it's be good to at least share each other's perspective with as many people that can participate. The second thing I mentioned before was that I'd like to see if we can come to a strategy on how we can nudge them towards, at the bare minimum, recognizing how many options are available for them that they are closing their minds off to, including, living arrangements and health care. The fourth thing that I wanted to talk about was the conversation with Kay. She's having a lot of difficulty, and it stems from a number of things, but it sounds like, in order to have a phone conversation with her, you have to sort of do what she did when she was a teenager, She has to take the phone into the other room and talk in a whisper and everything else, so it felt like, we're circling back to old school stuff. But that's a big issue. She feels sort of closed off from her brothers and sisters, and she's having some difficulties dealing with Dad in particular, who at one time treats her like his daughter and is loving and caring, and then is Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde wakes up the next day and it's she's his employee and he's bossing her around, and she and Mom are sort of forging a bond of support for one another right now. But my point in bringing this up is that twofold. She is doing this because of her love for her parents, but also out of love for her brothers and sisters. And when she starts talking about that, she breaks down. I know I said I was going to keep this confidential, but this one's too important. She would love to have anything in the manner of recognition or love and support, except a phone call. That just stirs things up. So, if you feel like dropping her a line, that would be great. We're making arrangements to try and give her a couple hours off this week and get her out of there. But I worry, and everyone else worries, about Kay's well-being. Some of you started worrying before this started, so it's not like it should be a surprise to anybody, but it is an important consideration. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I think as far as the conference call is concerned, it turns out that Jenny does this as part of her job. She organizes conference calls, and she has a website that she works on, and I'd like to suggest, Jenny, if you'd be willing to organize it again, that would be great. I'm thinking it should occur, based on the conversations that we've all had, sometime this weekend. It's going to be a little bit tricky for us Packer fans or us football fans, although the Vikings, I think, are off. It may have to be Sunday, late afternoon Sunday. It may have to be Saturday sometimes, late afternoon. But what I would suggest is that everyone email Jenny and let her know what times you are not available, so that she can come to the conclusion of when we all are available. And then, Jenny, if you'd be so kind to do so, let everyone know when it's going to be. So let her know not only when you're available, what phone number you can be reached at that time. And then I think, unless we can come up with another agenda item, we should talk about where things are and how we can nudge them towards a decision. And by how, I mean not only the timing of it, but who does it. What's the strategy for getting, it's probably not unfair to say getting Dad to recognize that changes need to be made. And you know, if we can get them towards acceptance, that would be wonderful. But I don't know that that's going to happen in a short period of time. And that all presumes that things will stay the same throughout this current week, which, as we know, things can change day to day and moment to moment. So I hope this is helpful, and it was, again, very, very moving for me to hear all the outpouring of love from our brothers and sisters, and I am really thankful for all that. I love you all, and next time I hear from everybody, I think it'll probably be the conference call. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be home till Thursday morning. I'm going to go down to Middleton Thursday morning and stay till probably Saturday morning. We'll see. But I'm available at 715-362-4485. I probably shouldn't say that because this is not restricted, but we'll see what happens. Bye for now.